Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's really great to be here in Cologne, and we're very excited to show you guys the one and only public demonstration of Shogun 2 Total War, which is, of course, still in development. The first thing we're going to show you today, which you may already have seen, maybe not, is the announcement CGI trailer. Before I'll hand over to our creative director, Mike Simpson, who will talk you through the features of the game, and then we're going to show you guys a live gameplay demonstration. Okay, so if we can run the first intro, that would be great.
Schönheit und Harmonie. Das immerwährende Gesetz besagt, dass alles, was einen Anfang hat, einmal enden muss. Die Herrschaft des alten Shogunats ist vorüber!
Hey everyone, 10 years ago, we started the Total War series with a game called Shogun. What we were trying to do with the series was to put you, the player, in the shoes of a general, or a warlord, or an emperor. The way we did this is by taking the kind of turn-based gameplay from games like Civilization and combining that with the real-time battles that you get in traditional real-time strategy games like StarCraft. So we produced a game where you turn by turn build your empire, building cities, developing your economy and building armies, and doing it all set in real-world settings from history. The battles we ended up producing have thousands of men, unlike any other game. We've visited a whole load of different periods in history, starting with feudal Japan, going on to medieval Europe, then Rome, then back to medieval Europe again. And finally, we went to the whole world with the Empire period, with the Age of Enlightenment and Revolution. And the last game we put out was Napoleon, where we did Napoleon's invasion of Europe. Now we come back full circle, all the way back to Shogun again. The technology in those 10 years has come on hugely. With help from our friends at Intel, we've had hundreds of times the power that we had 10 years ago, and we're using it. So we're using it to produce a game which is unlike anything else. It's Shogun 2.
Awesome, okay. So we're now going to show you a live gameplay demonstration of Shogun 2 Total War. This is the one and only time we're going to do this and show it publicly, so it's specially just for you guys here in Cologne. Thank you very much for taking the time to see it. Let's run the tape. Okay, so this is very early pre-alpha footage of the game. But we have a massive increase in the level of detail and the number of guys we're going to be able to show on screen at any one time. In this battle, we'll be playing the Chosakabe samurai here in black, and we'll be fighting against the Takeda, who are indicated in red, defending this castle. You can see the red banners here in the foreground. Shogun 2 has a massively improved graphics engine. We have double the number of body parts per unit than we've been able to do previously, and we can show up to 56,000 units on screen at any one time. That's a huge number of units. Before every battle, your generals will give speeches to your troops. Your generals have unique personalities. Sometimes these guys are as brave as lions, other times they're as scared as squirrels. They can be crazy, they can be brave, and what they say to your troops before a battle will inspire them or demoralize them. So your generals have a very real effect on the battles. There is also an RPG element to Shogun 2. You can upgrade your generals over time as you win more and more battles with them. You can change their personalities and their characteristics to make them more effective at fighting the kind of war you want to fight. So you can see here, we're now looking out over the landscape of feudal Japan. Japan is a very mountainous country. It has lots of hills and valleys, and the tactics and the kind of battlefield you're going to see are going to reflect this. We've done a huge amount of work with the graphics engine. You can see here we're using brand new shader and particle effects, and we're at the early stages of implementing DirectX 11 functionality as well. It sounds like a very bravado thing to say, but this is one of the best looking RTS games we've ever created. You'll notice as well that the environments themselves are getting wet as a result of the rain. So are each of all of the individual troops. The water seen here is pooling underneath the bridges and trees. The weather system is completely integrated into the game. You get snow, sunshine, spring, autumn, winter. All of these things affect the troops and the way that the gameplay is actually played. We also have a brand new lighting model. You'll notice this battle is taking place at night, something that's new for the Total War series. We can have up to 300 different light sources on screen at any one time, which is an absolutely huge amount in terms of the way that we render this. Visually, as an RTS, this is much more similar to a first-person shooter than it is an average strategy game. So we're now moving our army forwards and taking on the enemy samurai that are coming to meet us. You can see here 2 units of enemy samurai are marching towards our line, and we're sending 2 units of our own samurai out to meet them. These guys are going to fight a duel to the death. It's an honor-based thing. You try and fight the class of soldier that's equal to you. So as these guys now crash into one another and start fighting, you'll notice that a lot of them are fighting these motion-captured, hand-to-hand combat animations. We use professional martial artists to motion capture the sword fighting, the spear fighting, and even the archery to make sure it's the most realistic combat ever seen in a strategy game. We have hundreds and hundreds of these animations, all to make sure that every battlefield feels unique and feels different. So we can see now our guys are doing their best to fight against these Takeda forces. We're killing some, they're killing some. It's kind of a balanced battlefield at the moment. A number of the dead are lying at their feet. Unfortunately, our guys have decided that cowardice is the best way and are streaming off the battlefield and legging it. So we now have a problem. We're losing this first phase of the battle. We're now going to go ahead and move the vast majority of our army forwards, backed up with our archers. These are the units that you can see here with these very long-range markers. So having lost that first engagement, we're now going to move our archery units forward and also push forward with our spear units. You have roughly 30 different unit types in Shogun 2. They're very clearly distinct from one another, so you get a very rock, paper, scissors style of gameplay. It becomes very easy to work out which units to match against which other units. The tactical depth and strategy comes in working out which combinations of units work best against other combinations. That's how you tell if you're a great general or not. So now, as you can see, the very simple point-and-click interface, we've pushed all of our units forward and we're about to engage in the main part of the battle. However, we have a unit of cavalry right here on the right, and we can see a weak spot on the enemy's line over there in the background. So we're going to send our cavalry in very fast, very heavy, and try and destroy those guys before they get a chance to march forward against us. Cavalry, of course, are fantastic on the open ground. They move very quickly. They get a lot of bonuses for charging into enemy units, and hopefully we'll be able to destroy these guys very quickly as a result of using these now. Unfortunately, the enemy has a number of flame archers hidden in the woods. You can see here the flame archers are decimating our cavalry. However, we still manage a very good charge. Our guys have destroyed this uniform and broken them all up. Unfortunately, these fire arrows are now going to rain in and really do some damage to our own cavalry units. Fire arrows are an example of one of the battlefield upgrades you can get in Shogun 2. The technology tree now for Shogun features a number of different techs and weapons, allowing you to do things on the battlefield that weren't possible before. Some things, like the fire arrows, as well as having a military effect, also have an effect on the morale of the enemy troops. When you see a sky full of arrows on fire raining down on your men, it has a serious negative effect on the morale. The AI has now decided it's time to charge all of its units forward and hit us in one massive blow in the center of the map. This is going to be the moment in which the battle is decided. The strongest set of units is going to need to prevail, and we're going to have to hope that that's our guys. In the Shogun 2 time frame, it's very common to use spears, or yari as they're referred to back then, and this is one of these weapons we're going to see now. So our own units here have readied their spears, they're ready for the enemy charge, but the enemy will be getting a bonus because they're the ones slamming into us. We're going to have to go ahead and brace ourselves and take the charge now. So we literally now have hundreds and hundreds, up to thousands of men smashing into one another. And this is really the hallmark of the Total War series of games. You don't see battles this big anywhere else on PC. It's purely us that does this kind of stuff. So now you can see here, we've also got thousands and thousands of troops amassing in the center and on the left. Right now, this is a real meat grinder of a battle. We're throwing our best melee units at their best melee units and hoping that we can hold the line. You'll notice the green bars above the units. That's the unit's courage. That's how courageous and the morale that it's feeling. As those bars begin to drop, the units will panic and they will run off of the battlefield. You're able to win victories by causing morale in the enemy camp to drop to 0. This is a very good tactic for Shogun 2. We're now going to try and be a bit more sneaky and see if we can win this one very quickly using our speed to our advantage. Those enemy archers that are hidden in the woods are doing some serious damage to our units in the center. So we're going to go ahead and move them around the back and flank the enemy archery units, hopefully destroying them and then running our cavalry into the back of the infantry. Those archers, as you can see, are very busy firing into the center of the line. Our cavalry here is now moving around the back, and when we get them in position, we'll be in a position to finally surprise those archers, knock them off the hill, and then charge into the back of the infantry in the center, hopefully winning the battle for us. Okay, the cavalry's now in position. The archers haven't seen us coming, so now's the time to send them streaming over the hill in a giant wall of death into the back of these archery units. Here they come. Awesome. Okay, so you can see now we've got a brand new physics and animation engine. All of those archers being thrown left and right as a result of the cavalry smashing into them from the rear. That archer's morale bar has dropped straight to red. They're now panicking, and we're folding that flank of the enemy army. Now's the time to commit all of the remains of our troops and destroy them once and for all. You normally would not use cavalry in a wooded environment. Cavalry suffers when it's acting in a forest. Hopefully, this time around, that won't be an issue because the archery units are very weak in close combat. With these archers almost destroyed, we're now in a position to go ahead and start smashing. We're now going to start smashing our units into the edge of the enemy line. Now, the enemy general's going to be panicking. He's lost all of his archers on the left and the right. His center is the only thing that's left, and hopefully we win this decisively and throw our units at the center. The enemy will panic, and that will be the end of the battle. We've now destroyed those archers completely. That's it, they're gone. We can turn our attention to the center of the field, where our spear units, which we saw earlier, are now holding up to the last. You can see here here we go, this is going to be it. We charge the cavalry in from the trees. Our own infantry have held them there. You can see now that the Takeda units in red are beginning to panic, and eventually they'll flee off the battlefield. There you go. All of their flags have disappeared. They're running in shame and cowardice off of the battlefield. And it's now up to us to run down the survivors and kill as many of them as possible. Fantastic. Okay. That's a very early showing of what Shogun 2 is going to look like. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's important to mention, as well as those massive battles, we of course have naval warfare and a full campaign game on which you'll fight these battles and choose to destroy your enemy. It's a truly deep and very, very interesting experience. Do you have anything you want to add, Mike, or am I okay to wrap up?
Getting back to medieval Japan, It's our favourite period. It has the coolest units. It has the